Welcome back to the Tracy Take. I am your co-host Tyler, and here with my brother Ryan, and we did a full mock draft, all 7 rounds, every single pick. And today we are breaking down the Carolina Panthers picks and who they ended up selecting in our mock draft. But before we do that, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Ryan and we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the NFL draft, and it's the easiest way to help out the channel and to also see when we release new content. Ring that bell, and Ryan, let's get into it. We felt it was just the absolute perfect time to do a full 7-round mock draft right after the Panthers decided to trade up for the number 1 overall pick, giving away DJ Moore. And it was honestly a lot of fun. And I say, let's just kind of go straight into it. And so with that number 1 pick overall, we had them selecting CJ Stroud. They could go Bryce Young here. They could maybe go Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, whatever quarterback their heart desires. That is what they're going to be. It is going to be a quarterback. I personally think Frank Reich I think he has an idea of the QB mold on what he would like. And CJ Stroud, I think, is the guy. I think he's the best quarterback in this class. And if he's not the best quarterback, he is just a tiny step behind Bryce Young.
Yeah. To me, this isn't really like a true comparison, but I think when you look at CJ Stroud's game, it does resemble Carson Wentz a little bit when that Philadelphia offense was so potent when Frank Reich was the offensive coordinator. And I think CJ Stroud presents a similar threat that Carson Wentz did back when he was having that MVP caliber season in, 2018? So
it was when they won the Super Bowl. So I think it would have been 2017, actually. Because he tore his ACL that.
2017. And so I just think that is a good basis. He's a big quarterback, very athletic, very strong arm. And I think Frank Reich wants to get him into this Carolina system, whose offensive line was much improved in 2022 compared to 2021. Still about average. However, later on in the draft, they could potentially address maybe some of their offensive line woes. And to me, like you said, I like CJ Stroud in the system. However, they didn't trade up for Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. They're drafting a quarterback. They're getting their quarterback of the future. And I think that's just what's so exciting about this draft for Panthers fans. It's like, all right, since this is the first time since Cam Newton that they're really going to have a guy under center that is the true future of the franchise.
Yeah. No, they make this move, obviously, for a QB. And I think Stroud makes the most sense as of right now, but as new information comes out. So let's move on, though, now to their later picks. And want to say everything. We use the Pro Football reference.
Pro Football Focus. And then
and so I bring that up
with a couple other tools.
And I bring that up as well. It's so on their thing, they did not have the trades. Everything was in. So Miami was 21, Chargers 22. So all their picks might be a little bit off. It's just because they didn't count the forfeit picks, or they did count the forfeit.
They counted the forfeited picks.
So when we say Jahmyr Gibbs went at pick number 40, it's in the second round here. I think Jahmyr Gibbs. They need a running back position. They improved on the offensive line, and Jahmyr Gibbs would be an instant day 1 starter. I think having CJ Stroud and Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield would be a perfect combination. I think to just. It's a rebuilding team, rebuilding year, and I don't think that there could be a better backfield that they can rebuild around.
Yeah. I also like his juxtaposition to Deontay Foreman. Deontay Foreman is this 6'2", 240-pound Derrick Henry style running back. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs comes in. He's a true 3-down back, but when you really need a guy to come in and just get 3 yards, you can put in Deontay Foreman as kind of the accent piece. And I really like what I think Frank Reich could do with Jahmyr Gibbs. You look at the Philadelphia offense and the Colts offense, they had a heavy rotation of running backs coming in and out. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs would fit that perfectly. He is also the running back that you probably don't need to sub out. He can just do whatever you want him to do. And I think looking back at this draft, everyone's going to look at Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think his second contract is going to be a big one. I think he's going to be a really good player in the NFL. And I think it fills a need. you need offensive playmakers, especially after trading DJ Moore. I like this pick a lot. I think it's a really good fit.
Well, and that's, I think, a great segue into their third round pick, which is Cedric Tillman at pick number 94. And I remember we talked about, there's a lot of different options that we could have gone with, and we liked receiver at that spot. And Cedric Tillman to us is that big bodied receiver who I think could be your outside receiver, solidify that outside receiver. I think at pick number 94, I think that's good value.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. So the wide receiver position is my personal favorite to evaluate, and I actually like Cedric Tillman more than Jalen Hyatt. Cedric Tillman actually has a differentiated release package. He's very good at the contested catch, but he also still has the ability, while he's not the most explosive off the line of scrimmage, he still has the ability to separate downfield and be like a true X receiver. And I really like what he brings to the table. I could see a CJ Stroud, not quite Marvin Harrison Jr., because Marvin Harrison Jr. is a generational prospect at the wide receiver position, but I could see a similar bond between these two at the NFL level. I'm a big fan of Cedric Tillman. He is a little underrated because he was injured for a good portion of 2022, and Jalen Hyatt had a really good season. But if I had to pick between the two, I'm still picking Cedric Tillman.
Well, Cedric Tillman is definitely a big body guy. He might not be the quickest of guys, but he's got a good catch radius. And I think going for rookie QB in the system, and I think now you have your starting rookie QB, starting rookie running back, and then now arguably probably your number one receiver, I would think. I mean, it's that, Laviska Shenault, DJ Moore's gone. Robbie Anderson's gone.
Terrace Marshall Jr. is
Terrace
also
Marshall
there.
Jr. is also there. That actually wouldn't be a horrible dynasty pickup. I think I need to go pick him up.
He's more of a he's like a DJ Chark. He's more of a speedy, large receiver, not necessarily a true X. So but
let's move on, though, now to their fourth picks. They had 3 offensive picks, especially all skill position players. And so we thought that it would be good at pick 115 to go with their defensive side of the ball. And so we went with Byron Young at Alabama. And it's hard to go wrong with an Alabama kid.
Byron Young out of Tennessee. He's the edge defender.
Shoot, that's specifically why we did back-to-back Byron Young picks, just so because we kept confusing them for like 30 picks. They're like, let's just knock him out of the way, and I just did it then exactly.
Yeah, no, Byron Young from Tennessee. He's an edge defender. Carolina's edge defenders are aging or moving on from the team, so we felt it would be good to help solidify that edge. He's a good situational pass rusher. Might struggle a little bit against the run at the next level, but I think with the right development, I really like what he could provide for the Panthers here in the fourth round. So
much better than that Byron Young from Alabama.
Who we'll be talking about with the Falcons here in a minute.
So they're going to be going up against each other. It's really funny that happened, because I remember from like pick 80 to like pick 115, we talked about like, when should we take these guys, and we just didn't figure it out, and we kept confusing them. And so I think that would be, he brings a lot of speed, and coming off the SEC, he's gone up against a lot of the tackles in the NFL. So I think that would be great. At pick 133, their second to last pick, we went back to receiver with Raheem Jarrett from Maryland. And I like the player. I'm maybe wondering if positionally they would have gone defense again, or maybe offensive line, but they do go offensive line eventually in the next pick, spoiler alert. But that being said, I think with how just few talent they have at the receiver and skill position players, I think that is going to be the primary focus in this draft, hoping that a couple of these guys hit.
No, I agree. For me, I think coming into last season, their 2 top receivers were DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Both of those guys are now off the roster. I think especially with a young quarterback coming in, you've started to build up this offensive line. It was, I think, 14th last year, according to PFF. You need to get him some weapons. We're kind of seeing this in we saw this with Justin Fields, actually, in Chicago. They had no weapons last year, and they kind of reverted to running a more spread style offense that allowed Justin Fields to move around more. He ended up getting hurt. And now you can see the Chicago Bears, who just traded with the Panthers for DJ Moore, are loading up on weapons with now Chase Claypool, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and then
Yeah.
in cast. And so I think the Panthers might try to avoid those first 2 years that the Bears had with Justin Fields and just skip right to year 3 with in terms of receivers. But Raheem Jarrett as a receiver, he's a true slot option. I want to say he's about 5'10", 180 pounds. Really solid hands. That was one thing that really stuck out to me at the combine when running the gauntlet drill. That's the drill they run down the middle, and then they get the balls thrown at them from like opposite sides.
Yeah.
Very fluid athlete. Not the most explosive, but he has like 4.45 speed, and he just had very confident, like natural hands, and sometimes that's not something you can teach. And to me, I think that's going to be the big thing here coming in at the end of round 4. It's just, okay, who can come in, who can make plays here or there, who has potential to develop later on.
Yeah.
And to me, I think Raheem Jarrett is that guy, and he's worth this compensatory pick.
Especially, too, we're recording this Monday night, March 13th. Free agency just started, and they've already made splashes on the defensive side of the ball with signing Shai Tuttle, then also Von Bell. So I think that's what it's a sign maybe that for the draft, it's going to be a lot of offensive focus as well, especially then too. Now they've done a lot of skill position players as well. Then their final pick 147, finally addressing the offensive line. Asim Richards from North Carolina, interior offensive lineman. I think that would be a good pick, especially that was the time. One thing we noticed with this draft is there's a lot of good offensive talent, and I would say the first 60 to 70 overall prospects, so to say. And then there is a big drop off. Until really around like 130 to 140, you get a lot of guards, but tackles then even lower than that. So I think getting Asim Richards here is a good value as well to just adding offensive line depth.
And that was one of the things with Asim Richards that I think, especially getting him in the middle of the 5th round, it's with him. I loved his Senior Bowl, especially when he actually got out at that left tackle position at the end of day 2. No, it was day 3. Sorry, at the end of day 3, and he was not letting anybody by. That included Will McDonald. Andre Carter kind of got outclassed, but he was in that group. Byron Young from Tennessee. He wasn't letting anybody by. He was stonewalling everybody rep after rep in the 11-on-11 drills. And to see that at a showcase that big, I mean, that's the biggest college showcase in college. So to see that capability at that type of event was very impressive. And I think for a developmental prospect in the middle of the 5th round, you get a guy that has starter potential. I think is good value there. So I really liked the Panthers draft. They only had 6 picks, but I think that comes with the territory of trading up. They did give up a 1st rounder next year, but then after that, they're in the clear. They have 3 more years of CJ Stroud on his rookie deal after that, and then they'll have their 1st round picks. And so I think all in all, Carolina Panthers are already coming away as a winner in this draft.
I mean, losing DJ Moore hurts, but at the same time, though, you're able to rebuild a lot quicker than if, let's say, you hung on to DJ Moore, who then probably by the time you start getting 1st round picks, probably won't be re-signing with you, or he would have requested a trade anyway. So you got a lot of value out of him in this trade.
There were trade rumors involving him at the trade deadline, so that it's not like this is like a big shock to everybody.
True, but it saved them another year of 1st round picks, and then now the 2025 2nd round pick, yes, but I don't know, 1st round pick in 2025, and let's be honest, they're probably not going to be that good over these next 2 years anyway. So that's probably going to be a top 10 pick in 2025, which I have no idea how good that class is going to be.